He did it.
So the question is, what did you do from then till now?
I'm coming for you.
How did you stay motivated when no one was watching? To make sure that doesn't happen again.
And a whole off-season to leave that horrible taste in your mouth.
Did you cry about it?
Did you take your ball and go home? Or were you working on your game?
Like I was working on mine.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you.
See, this game isn't all about X's and O's. It's not about the commas in your check or who's the latest and the greatest. This is about a desire to succeed. It's about the man who feeds off the fear that somebody worked harder than him. A paranoia that somebody could possibly beat him at his own game. And make no mistake, that guy hasn't taken a day off.
Think about all the work you put into this off-season. Come on, baby, let's get it.
See, all this isn't for September.
This is for when it hurts.
Down, late.
On the road.
Below zero.
All this is for one day in February.
So my time is now.
And I'll never be more ready.
I'm coming for you.
So here's to another year.
My goodness.
The next step, another chance to prove you're a champion.
Showing this season's going to be different. Show them I belong. Show them my hard work pays off.
Goes over the top. He's done it again.
So ask yourself one question. Did I do enough? It's week 1.
Wake up, world.
This is Fox NFL Sunday. Let's get to work.
I'm coming with all my might.
You think Aaron Donald's been in the gym? Man, football is back on Sunday. And the NFL on Fox is ready to light up your screen. So Jimmy Garoppolo with his movie star good looks and undefeated record as a starting quarterback. Today, he visits the Vikings and the highest paid free agent in history, Kirk Cousins. Meanwhile, Odell Beckham Jr. got paid to keep his star shining on Broadway. And now he lifts the curtain on the new season and sits down with our Michael Strahan a little bit later to talk about his comeback. OBJ is not the only superstar on the comeback from major injury. Look at Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Andrew Luck, J.J. Watt, David Johnson, all, just to name a few, they're back healthy and ready to roll. And so are we, as we kick off the 25th anniversary season of the NFL on Fox. And the one and only built for tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show. This is our 17th year with Ford as our title sponsor, and together we've enjoyed a lot of success. And speaking of success, once again, the Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America. It's been 41 straight years. So from all of us at Fox NFL Sunday, congratulations to Ford. Come on in here and stay a while, folks. I'm Kurt Menefee. Thanks for joining us, and a special thank you to Matthew McConaughey for a great job opening our show here in week 1. His new movie, Whiteboard Rick, opens in theaters everywhere this Friday, September 14th.
That opening doesn't get you pumped up.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Good.
Hey, we're excited because it's a new year. You can say Happy New Year, Terry, Howie, Michael, Jimmy.
What's up, Kurt? Great to be back. Hey, Coach, you know you're here? I'm here.
Always great to see you. Hey, I know Matthew McConaughey, one of your movie buddies out there in Hollywood. He did a great job with the open, but you lost a good movie friend, Burt Reynolds, this week.
Right.
He passed away.
I had the pleasure of doing 4 movies and Evening Shade, his TV show, a couple of times. Just a great guy, wonderful guy. All of us are football fans. All of us know that Burt was a great running back at Florida State before he got hurt, and just a great actor. But having been able to be around him and listen to his jokes and go out to dinner with him, something that now I'll cherish forever. Just a solid man. That's one of the scenes that got me nominated for an Oscar right there. By the way, one of the best toupees I believe I've ever had on.
How about we redo that? I'll play Burt Reynolds. Okay. Exactly. Rest in peace, Burt Reynolds. All right, guys. Let's get back to football and get you set for what's ahead after another crazy offseason around the NFL. As our Geico headlines spotlights the winds of change blowing into the 2018 season. Almost half the league will start a different quarterback in week 1 compared to this time a year ago. Earlier in the show, we already mentioned that Kirk Cousins is in Minnesota, but Alex Smith, Tyrod Taylor, Case Keenum, and Sam Bradford also debuted today with their new teams. Tomorrow night, Jets rookie Sam Darnold becomes the youngest opening day starting quarterback in NFL history. The other first-round QBs in this year's draft begin the season as backups, at least for now. Defensively, Richard Sherman, Ndamukong Suh, and Khalil Mack have changed uniforms. And this season, we'll see 7 new head coaches. But finally, some big news around here. Beginning in week 4, Fox Sports becomes your home for Thursday night football with the best Thursday night schedule ever. Plus, as we mentioned, it's also the 25th anniversary of this show. So we thought it'd be fun to kind of look back at the very first show in 1994. Howie still looks great after all these years. Jimmy looks about the same, just a little bit grumpier. Cherry, he's aged very, very gracefully. The one guy who's changed the most, though, has got to be me. I look a little bit different.
Yeah.
So James Brown was here the first 12 years, got it off to a great
You look
start.
great. You
That's
look
been
great,
fantastic.
bud.
Thank you,
I
brother.
hope I'm here 25 years and we can show that again.
Amen to that,
Amen.
brother. Let's all stay here another 25. All right, let's kick off this 25th season, Jimmy, by looking back and saying, who won the offseason?
L.A. Rams. They were 11-5 last year, so they really got a pretty good start. They extended the contracts of their two stars, Aaron Donald, Defensive Player of the Year, and then Todd Gurley, one of the top offensive players, in the league. And you look at this, so they picked up Ndamukong Suh to line up next to Donald. They've got two outstanding cover corners with Peters and Talib, and then they get a Pro Bowl wide receiver, Brandon Cooks. This team is loaded.
Howie, quarterbacks were the story of the offseason, really, when you look around.
Yeah, no question. 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. But to me, the story is the movement of Pro Bowl level quarterbacks unprecedented this offseason. Kirk Cousins goes from Washington over to Minnesota. Case Keenum goes from Minnesota to Denver. Alex Smith goes over to Washington. I think the guy that has the most pressure on him is the guy that's set up to have the most success. Kirk Cousins goes to a Minnesota team that is, you talk about loaded. They are loaded, came within one game of the Super Bowl. Anything short of a Super Bowl, to me, is a disappointment in Minnesota.
Michael, a lot of noise was made this offseason about the rule change where if you lower your helmet as defensive or offensive player, then you can be penalized for it. Do you think that'll have a big impact?
Well, I'm always for anything to protect the player. I think that's the first thing you have to do when it comes to the game. But officially, they've called it less than one time in the last 2 weeks of the preseason, which I don't like the fact that puts the officials in a position where they have to make a judgment on intent of a player. It's very hard sometimes to do that in real time, but I just think they need to be consistent. If they are consistent, and I think at the end of the day, if players are protected, then the rule is a win.
And potential suspension.
Yeah, the players will adjust. Yeah.
TB, lots of money was given out this offseason. Le'Veon Bell didn't get any of it. He's not playing for the Steelers today.
Right.
Whose side are you on in this dispute?
I'm on his. Absolutely. Listen, we are in a league that's all about offense. And if you look at the Steelers, they need Le'Veon Bell. They will not win the Super Bowl without trying to say hello. Oh, every time.
You know I can only do paper, right?
Oh, because the
Coffee Mate seasonal flavors are here.
It's like a mitt.
For the Cleveland Browns, and when he didn't show up, they felt he flipped the script on them.
All right, Khalil Mack had a contract dispute in Oakland instead. They wound up trading him to the Bears. What's the inside story there?
Oh, my gosh, Curry. Everybody throughout the NFL looks at it like this is the most bizarre thing that we have seen. A guy like Khalil Mack, he is a dream player. Obviously, John Gruden didn't think so. So back in February, the Oakland Raiders made him an offer. Khalil Mack, he countered. And then the Raiders said, okay, we're done negotiating. We're pulling that off the table. And Mack's like, it's called a negotiation. This is what you do. And throughout the last several months, the Oakland Raiders refused to negotiate with Khalil Mack. So when it started getting down to time there, Khalil Mack said, okay, let me change up my strategy and let me start poking at John Gruden's ego that I don't want to play for a guy like John Gruden. In the end, it worked. So he ships him off to the Chicago Bears. Look, we all know that the Rams, the Browns, that they were interested too. What you don't know is the two teams that were really up high and almost in the fray there were the New York Jets and San Francisco 49ers. And another team who made a strong push was the team he's going to face later today in the Green Bay Packers.
That's the kind of scoop which we love. We want some about Andrew Luck a little bit later from you, Jay. Stick around. We got that and a whole lot more. Don't go anywhere.
This offseason, we've seen a record amount of record deals. In other words, some guys got paid. Michael Strahan sits down with one of those guys, Odell Beckham Jr. Plus, Aaron Andrews chats with Cam Newton about the new season, his new offensive coordinator, a.k.a. the quarterback whisperer, and today's tilt with the Cowboys. Speaking of Dallas, Ezekiel Elliott talks life after death. Also, Wriggles back to bring the laughs. And if you didn't make the playoffs last season, fear not, you could end up winning the Super Bowl. More details next on Fox NFL Sunday. Okay, look,
If you're not the lead dog, the scenery never changes. That's why this is the view for every other full-size pickup. And this year, it's deja vu all over again. Because only the Ford F-150 with its high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy body gives you best-in-class torque, best-in-class payload, and you got it, baby, best-in-class towing. Still leading the pack. This is the big dog. This is the Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
As an allergy sufferer, you're wired differently. Nasacort is different too. Unlike antihistamines, it targets more of the allergic inflammation that causes your congestion and other nasal allergy symptoms for 24-hour relief. Nasacort stops more of what makes you miserable.
Corona Hotline. No, he doesn't work here anymore. What's up? Stay calm. Grab your Corona. I'm going to walk you through this step by step. But seriously, that is a lot of guacamole.
There's a new operator in town. Call the Corona Hotline today and find your game day peach.
Like the penalties, sitting or kneeling during the anthem. Colin Kaepernick, back in the news this week as part of a new Nike ad, does not yet have a date for his collusion trial to start, but sources say it's very likely to take place before the end of the season. The process could take several weeks with owners, coaches, and league officials compelled to take part. In the meantime, Kaepernick and former 49ers teammate Eric Reid continue to work out daily together in the New York area in hopes of playing again. The Steelers are bracing for a lengthy absence from Le'Veon Bell, as Coach alluded to. He's given them no indication as to when he plans to sign that franchise tag. Some team officials tell me they expect to skip at least 4 to 6 games to reduce his risk of injury. Bell must return by Week 10 to secure his free agent status for 2019. Khalil Mack's blockbuster trade to Chicago and record contract shook up the Raiders' locker room last week. Believe it or not, Oakland could have actually extended Mack way back in February for less money than the Bears gave him, I'm told. The Raiders never responded to that contract proposal from Mack the entire offseason, and the Eagles remain hopeful that Carson Wentz could be back this month. The star QB is week to week in his return from knee surgery and continuing on an upward trajectory, and boom, David Johnson didn't reset that running back market either, but he did get a 3-year deal providing him and the team some security.
All right, Jason, thanks very much. And I'll tell you what, guys, here's a guy that had some pressure on him today. That's going to be Big Ben Roethlisberger. We know he's always up to the task. Always seems to beat Cleveland, doesn't he, Coach?
He sure does, bro.
Not today.
Coming up on the NFL Today.
Hey, good move. Aim weight, baby.
We feel you, Eric Weddle. But you know who's even more excited about Week 1? Last year's bottom dwellers. Find out.
Last year to being a contender this year.
Well, they're not coming out of... He missed 9 games. They only won 3 of those games. Now, in the offseason, they pick up Graham and Lewis at tight end. Rodgers will love them, especially down the goal line. Wilkerson on defense. The Packers, they've got enough talent to win it all.
Really? You don't say so, Jimmy. Yeah, that was obvious. But I like the Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson was having a great rookie year before he went down with the injury. Lamar Miller, they have a running game there. Hopkins led the league in touchdowns last year. So they can do it all offensively and have the confidence with this young quarterback. But defensively, J.J. Watt is back. Clowney is playing at a top level. Then you add Tyrann Mathieu and also Merciless, who I think is an underrated player. How we're really talking about. I think that this team is poised to take that next level jump.
Yeah, San Diego, Philip Rivers, this is probably...
Los Angeles Chargers.
Yes. I played them for so long down there. It's ingrained in my head.
That's a lot of ingrained.
Yes, that's a lot of room in there. This is his best shot to make it to the Super Bowl. Allen Williams is back now after an injury-plagued rookie season. They bring in Pouncey for leadership, Gordon and running back. Bosa and Ingram on the outside. Bosa's hurt right now, and that concerns me. The foot injury concerns me. And they've got a guy named Derwin James, safety rookie, who people are comparing to Sean Taylor. Wow. Keep an eye on him. That's a special comparison.
I'm going to go with Denver, and that truly is one from out there because without Peyton Manning, recall, they did win the World Championship with Peyton, but in comes Case Keenum, and I was surprised that Minnesota got rid of him because I thought Keenum earned that right to get the contract in Minneapolis. I thought he played so well for them, winning 12 games, going to the championship game, and he played well in that game. He just caught Philadelphia, man. They were hot as all get out. So I'm going to go with Denver. They got a good defense, and they got a good quarterback now.
Yeah. I know nobody took the Cleveland Browns.
Woo.
We'll talk about them, whether or not they make the playoffs, because they obviously didn't last year. They didn't win a game. But Are the Browns the most improved team in the league? We'll tackle that next